Heya Cryptozens, tonight's show, Weekend Roundup. These are all brand new stories I didn't report on earlier this week. We got stories about Russia, ENS Domains, Truss, Coinbase, and Quentin Tarantino. It's 10 p.m. Pacific time. The date is September 10th, 2022. Welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. My name is Nikodemus, and I'll be your host. The cover model, mascot, and co-host for this podcast is Tex. And together, we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space and the industry that surrounds it. And keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. Monday. The Bank of Russia sharply reversed its pre-war stance on crypto. Previous to the invasion of Ukraine, the Russian central bank really didn't want anything to do with crypto. The fact that the Ministry of Finance supported crypto held no sway. In fact, even when Vladimir Putin expressed interest in crypto and basically said, figure it out and make it work, the central bankers just didn't move very fast. And well, things have changed. As a local news agency reports, they've reached a solution to this impasse. The Bank of Russia and the Ministry of Finance have both agreed that, quote, it is impossible to do without cross-border payments in cryptocurrency. Now, obviously, this is in response to the economic sanctions that the West has imposed against Russia and Belarus. Just finding themselves cut off from the SWIFT network has been brutal. There are some little bank networks that are kind of open to them, and some nation-states are free to choose to respond to the sanctions from the West. However, India and China are both known to still have trade with Russia and as well as Iran. And Iran recently placed something like a $25 million order using crypto to pay for it. And so it came to pass that the Deputy Finance Minister, Alexei Moiseev, said that crypto payments would soon be legalized. That said, the emphasis was on users relying on overseas platforms to open crypto wallets. He said, because the infrastructure we plan to create is too rigid for the use of cryptocurrencies in cross-border settlements, which of course we must first of all legalize somehow. On the one hand, give people the opportunity to do it. On the other hand, put it under control so there's no laundering, paying for drugs, and so on. Now, one of the rationalizations for the move comes from the fact that people already have crypto wallets that exist outside of Russia. So, they're proposing to set up those same very wallets inside Russia, using the supervision of the bank. He said, quote, now people open crypto wallets outside of the Russian Federation. It is necessary that this can be done in Russia, that this is done by entities supervised by the central bank, which are required to comply with all the requirements for the anti-money laundering legislation, and first of all, of course, to know their client. Now remember, this is all cross-border. Putin banned the use of digital assets as payments inside the country. Crypto has been good to Ukraine throughout this conflict. They've gotten significant support along the way in the form of crypto donations that they're using to buy supplies for their defense. Tuesday. What's in a name? Well, by the looks of things, a lot of money. That is if you're talking about ENS domain names. Because while the rest of the NFT market has tanked, Ethereum name service domain names have beaten out the Bored Apes for the last week. That's right. For the last 7 days in a row, ENS has been the most traded NFT on OpenSea. Okay, to be open and honest here, I do have one ENS name. I'm not selling it. I didn't get it for speculative purposes. It's my name, and that's worth too much to sell. Here's why it's important to me. For those who don't know, the Ethereum name service domains are a decentralized open naming system on the Ethereum blockchain. And what it does is let you turn a long string of characters for a crypto address into a single ENS domain. So in my case, it's my first name. So my ENS name is Nikodemus.eth. Simple as that. That makes dealing with sending and receiving crypto much simpler. It's much better than copy-pasting a long address, because even if you copy and paste something, there can be errors. You just have to be able to remember the name and the ETH extension, much like any other web or email address. A lot of people are buying and trading those names. Digit ENS names were hot for a while. 3, 4, and 5-digit numbers for the address .eth, yeah, they were going crazy. 000.eth went for 300 Ethereum. And also, people are buying up names that they think are going to be valuable, like toplawyer.eth. And all of this trading has seen a surge in pricing. The average ENS jumped in price 167%. August was a really good month for the company. More than 300,000 registrations in 1 month, bringing their total up to over 200 million names on OpenSea alone. And this is after NFT volume seemingly jumped off a cliff somewhere around January. According to data from OpenSea, ENS brought in over 875 Ethereum in the last 24 hours alone. That's compared to 250 Ethereum for CryptoPunks and 157 Ethereum for Bored Apes. Now, of course, there's plenty of explanation as far as why this surge. Corey Whitaker is the executive director for ENS, and they said that falling Ethereum prices probably have a lot to do with it. The registration and renewal are both denominated in Ethereum. So when Ethereum prices are low, that might make registering your own new ENS more attractive, whether you're planning on flipping it or not. And of course, the merge. We just had the completion of Bellatrix upgrade on Tuesday. In the run-up before the upgrade went live, there was a substantial gain for Ethereum over the course of several days. Even Ethereum Classic went up by 28%, although that might be due to a potential excitement of Ethereum miners moving over to mine Ethereum Classic. It brings Ethereum Classic back into the top 20 cryptocurrencies. Wednesday. On Monday, we talked about Liz Truss. She is the recently elected Conservative Party leader and Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Last Tuesday, Queen Elizabeth formally appointed Truss to her new position. And we're talking about how she stacked up against Rishi Sunak. He was her only real competition for that position. And at the time, I made the case that while Liz has made some pretty encouraging comments on crypto, we might have been better off with Sunak. We don't have a ton of on-record comments for her, and I think the one that best shows the direction that Truss is likely to go comes from the tweet that she sent out in 2018. Quote, "We should welcome cryptocurrencies in a way that doesn't constrain their potential. Liberate free enterprise areas by removing regulations that restrict prosperity." Beyond that, we haven't had a lot to go on. We know that she's prone to be pro-business, that she takes more of a hands-off approach to private enterprise in general. She also stood up a digital trade network. Launched in 2020, it promotes fintech firms. At the time, she said she wanted to, quote, "create great opportunities in areas such as blockchain." On the other hand, Sunak, while serving as Chancellor of the Exchequer, seemed to have been more enthusiastic over crypto, to make crypto a part of the UK financial landscape. He said, quote, "It's my ambition to make the UK a global hub for crypto asset technology, and the measures we've outlined today will help to ensure firms can invest, innovate, and scale up in this country." Now, unfortunately, we don't have a better idea of where Prime Minister Truss is headed as far as crypto goes. Here's what I mean. Tuesday, Truss's office announced that Kwasi Kwarteng is going to be the UK's next finance minister. He replaces Nadhim Zahawi, and Zahawi held the position for 3 months following Sunak's resignation last July. A member of Parliament since 2010, Kwarteng was most recently the UK's Secretary of State for Business, Energy, and Industrial Strategy. He's also not terribly talkative, at least where crypto is concerned, but we do have some signs. In June of last year, his department identified blockchain systems as one of the, quote, 7 technology families that will transform our economy in the future. In July, his previous department announced a 53 million British pound fund. That fund was earmarked for supporting technological innovation, including the use of blockchain in supply chains. Honestly, though, I don't know that crypto is the biggest concern of Liz Truss, Kwasi Kwarteng, or the entire UK government. They're facing unprecedented energy rate hikes. Their economy is getting walloped. Already facing high inflation, Truss and Kwarteng may also be facing a recession. So crypto may not be the first thing they're tackling once Quiz and Quasi get settled in. Thursday. On Thursday, 6 people filed a new lawsuit in the U.S. District Court, Western District of Texas. They were users of Tornado Cash, well-known, well-sanctioned cryptocurrency mixer. Most recently added to the Office of Foreign Assets Control Specially Designated Nationals list. Now, OFAC comes under the U.S. Department of Treasury. And specifically, they put 44 Tornado Cash smart contract addresses on that list. The theory being that interacting with those addresses could get you in hot water with the U.S. government. And so those 6 users are suing OFAC, alleging that those actions were, quote, not in accordance with the law. So, first stop, U.S. Treasury Department and the definition of specially designated nationals. Quote, SDNs are the individuals and entities located throughout the world that are blocked pursuant to the various sanctions programs administered by OFAC. SDNs can be front companies, parastatal entities, or individuals determined to be owned or controlled by or acting for or on behalf of targeted countries or groups. So I didn't see software code anywhere on that list. Tools aren't on that list. People are, sure. Entities, individuals are. But no, software wasn't on that list. And that is their first point. Tornado Cash is none of those things. So it's not eligible to be on the list. It's not a person, it's not an entity, it's not an individual. Now, second point, and we're back to code. You see, code has been included in the whole freedom of speech thing. And while many people have a very flawed idea of what the First Amendment actually means, in this case, it perfectly applies. So both the code and what the people do with that code is covered. Quote, Tornado Cash allows plaintiffs to engage in important socially valuable speech. However, due to the designation, plaintiffs cannot use Tornado Cash to make donations to support important and potentially controversial political and social causes. So, Vitalik Buterin, for example, he admitted on Twitter he donated money to Ukraine and did so using Tornado Cash to mask his transaction. If you are for or against abortion rights, you might not want anyone to know which side you donated to. If you're a conservative in San Francisco or a liberal in West Virginia, you might not want your neighbors to know who you donated to. And this is all covered activity under the First Amendment. And finally, the third point is more of a procedural thing. Because OFAC sanctioned Tornado Cash, now these people can't draw their money out. Their Ethereum is stuck in Tornado Cash. So that deprives them of using that money for their own defense. Now, speaking of money and defense, Coinbase to the rescue. And frankly, they could use the good press. Coinbase came out on Thursday publicly supporting the suit, saying it was, quote, defending privacy in crypto. They said, the sanctions exceed Treasury's authority, harm innocent people, remove privacy and security options for crypto users, and stifle innovation. And then they gave a really good example of why a good person who hasn't done anything wrong might want to use Tornado Cash. Quote, one person used Tornado Cash to donate money to Ukraine anonymously. Afterward, his wallet received potentially malicious airdrops. Because he anonymized his crypto before donating, he avoided attacks against his personal accounts. He has funds trapped in Tornado Cash. I tell you, if I were a developer, I would have to think long and hard about working in this industry, at least until this suit gets worked out. Now, frankly, I support the lawsuit. I think what the U.S. government has done in this case is a textbook example of overreach. And further, I don't believe in restricting the rights of law-abiding citizens just because someone else might do something bad. I prefer to wait and handle the offender on their own merit rather than punishing the innocent. Friday. If you remember, last November we covered a story about Quentin Tarantino. The Secret Network, a base layer blockchain provider, announced that they were going to auction off uncut screenplay scenes from Pulp Fiction. They'd be released as NFTs. Now, Miramax, the studio involved, said that they own all the rights to Pulp Fiction except for those reserved for Tarantino. And they're saying NFTs weren't on that list. Miramax says that they were working on their own NFT strategy. Bart Williams is one of their attorneys. In a statement, he said, quote, "This one-off effort devalues the NFT rights to Pulp Fiction, which Miramax intends to maximize through a strategic, comprehensive approach." The Secret Network, of course, disagrees. Looking at the original press release for the auction, it appears that they might have known that there might be a disagreement over NFT rights. They said that Tarantino owns, quote, "exclusive rights to publish his Pulp Fiction screenplay, and the original handwritten copy has remained a personal creative treasure he has kept private for decades." And the auction went off last January. They raised $1.1 million in the auction. But those sales were canceled because of the suit. Now keep something in mind. Miramax and Tarantino have history, a lot of history. In addition to Pulp Fiction, they've partnered up for Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2, and just Pulp Fiction alone made $213 million worldwide. You know that saying about not killing the golden goose or not burning bridges? I think Miramax just realized that their goose that lays the golden eggs is on the other side of a bridge that they better not burn. I say that because this suit is over. It's been settled. The movie studio said that they're going to withdraw the suit in the next couple of weeks. In fact, just to show there's no hard feelings, they want to work with Tarantino in the future, including on NFT projects. And that's going to do it for this week's Weekend Roundup. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. Take care of yourselves, but take care of each other too. We'll see you tomorrow night.